Three ways in which you can make Hyprland extremely fast. Okay. Now I'll show you the first couple of ways in which I have already experimented with, and pretty much all of them I've experimented with. So let's just get started. First method, this one is going to be the best one. Okay. First method is going to be auto cpufreq. So if I just search that for you here, auto cpufreq, you see that it's an automatic CPU speed and power optimizer. Right now, I don't actually have it installed, so it'll be fun showing you exactly how to install this from scratch. And if you're wondering what this S is about, it's just an alias for yay-s or yay-ss. You can bind that to just be S. So that if I want to search something, I can just type in S and search something. It's so much better than having to type yay-ss and then wasting time typing this, just wasting keyboard keystrokes, right? Reducing the lifespan of my goddamn keyboard just to type out an extra couple of letters. Okay, of course, that's sarcasm. It's not actually going to happen, but regardless, it's so much more efficient to just type in S. Great. Now let's install that. Let's install auto cpufreq. Now I'm using the chaotic AUR, so it's just automatically going to install this, right, without having to actually compile anything. Otherwise, what would happen is you would have to go the AUR route, and then you would have to compile the program, and then install the binary, and then execute the binary in order for you to get access to auto cpufreq. No, you don't have to suffer through all of that. All you have to do is just use chaotic AUR, which I've made a video on it in the past before, how to install AUR apps without actually compiling them. So if you want, you can check that video out. You can check it out later after this one, but just know that there is a way to install apps without having to go through the entirety of the suffering that Arch users are meant to go through usually when it comes to compiling. Okay, now let's see what it says here. So auto cpufreq installed. The daemon provided doesn't work. Instead, run the following command. Blah blah blah. Great. So let's type that in. Systemctl enable -- now auto cpufreq. So enable -- now, what does this mean? So there's two commands that's just combined into one, right? Systemctl enable means enable this unit, right? Enable this service, or basically enable this program to be auto-started next time I launch my computer. That's the same thing that you would do if you were to configure GDM or something like that, right? A display manager. That's one thing. Now, the -- now part is just start it now as well. So you're just combining systemctl start and then systemctl enable into one command by using the -- now flag. That's it. If I enable -- now, it'll ask me for a password. This, by the way, this is something that you'll have to configure yourself, because if you don't have this running, it's just going to spit an error back at you, and you're going to have to spend quite a while in order to figure that out. So instead of having to deal with all of these errors, you can just manage to include this password box, right? Which I show you, by the way, along with how to configure a custom theme switcher like this one inside of the first link in the description. So if you want to learn how to make something like this yourself, make a custom theme switcher along with a wallpaper theme switcher like you see here, that fits a bunch of different themes, right? Like here, if I show you, this has got so many different themes going on. So if you want to learn how to make something like this yourself, so that in case something breaks, you don't have to worry about it at all, because what I teach you inside of that is a system of basically 3 to 4 steps in which you can just plug and play, right? You don't have to learn anything that you don't have to learn, right? That's one major thing. And another thing is you basically have zero risk of breaking, because I show you every single step and hold your hand and walk you through it, so that there is absolutely no way that you can fail when it comes to making a setup like this, right? Because I've been writing Hyprland for over 4 years, and I have failed so many times when it comes to writing. It's funny. It's funny. Yes, it is funny, but it's also not, in a way, right? Instead, what I've done is basically compiled all of my lessons for you, so that you don't have to go through the same troubles that I did getting this set up. In fact, I actually show you right over here. So here inside of this theme switchers module, right, it's a 2-hour long module where I've created flowcharts and slides and everything to show you exactly how you're supposed to make a custom theme switcher like this. I don't just give you the code and then say, look, here's the code, just go ahead and figure it out on your own. Good luck. I don't just say that. I give you support as well. There's 24-hour support, so basically I get back to you within 24 hours if you have any issues, and then I cover in this module specifically what theme switchers are, different kinds, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. Basically a lot of cool stuff. I also show you the exact code of how to implement this here. So let's take a look at the code somewhere here, right? This is how you're supposed to write it. I explain every part in detail. I also show you how you can troubleshoot any issue that comes under the sun by teaching you first principles thinking and applying mental models. This is a 1-hour long module, but it took me way longer than just an hour to create. Probably weeks weeks to months worth of just understanding the models themselves, and then first of all coming across this information to teach you. But yeah, this is how you can avoid issues at all and basically never come across them. So if you want to learn how to make something like this yourself, go ahead, click the first link in the description right now. You can actually just click it and go ahead, check it out. You can pause this video and come back to it later if you want to. But yeah, okay, now here, this one actually just failed because we didn't do that, but now it works because we use sudo. That's done. Great. Now to view live log, you just run auto cpufreq --stats. So let's actually run that, and this is what we see. Now, this is the same thing that you will see if you use auto cpufreq GUI utility over here. Okay, so this is the GUI utility. Now, current governor is performance because I'm plugged in right now. But apart from that, there are 12 cores here, and each core is operating at this frequency. If I wanted to override to get better performance, I just click on performance here. I would just have to then type in my password. Okay, and then turbo boost should turn on. Most likely it's not going to turn on until there is some actual load. That's something to look out for. Now, if you're instead on battery, like if I unplug this thing, I can set it to power save and then save as much battery as possible. Let's put this back to default. Okay, we'll just keep it the way it was and we'll just roll the rest of it. Okay, now that is how you install auto cpufreq. Now, the next tool that I'm about to show you is something that you've probably already used before if you're on KDE or GNOME. It's called Power Profiles Daemon. Power Profiles Daemon, or Daemon, however you want to pronounce it, right? If you like Daemon so much, you can just say Daemon. Now, let's just wait for this to show up properly. Okay, there it is. Now, it's an extra, so this is not exactly a repo that's, or rather a package that's in the AUR, so you can just install it with Pacman. But yeah, here you can make Power Profiles handling available over dbus. Now, if I just install this real quick, install the daemon. Yes, let's get the daemon onto my system. Now, let's see what the daemon can do to my system, whether it can speed things up or whether it can just blow up my PC. Now, here, a couple of different things that you can do here, like set performance governors. Let me just show you. It's much easier if I just show you. Power Profiles, CTL. Okay, yeah, this is what you see. So right now it's set to balanced. It's not set to performance whatsoever. It's using the Intel P-State CPU driver. Yeah, that's because this is a Core 5 210H CPU. So yeah. Now what we can do is either get or set. If I type power profiles CTL get, I see the current thing. I see the current little selected power profile. If I wanted to set a particular one, I just use set, and then I'd pick something like balanced, power saver, or performance. Now, be very, very careful when it comes to using multiple sorts of programs like these when it comes to speeding up your computer, because what you don't want to do is have one program modifying one setting, okay, and then another program modifying another setting that somehow happens to coincide and conflict with the first program modifying the first setting. That is not fun. You do not want that under any circumstances whatsoever, because let's say the two start conflicting, okay? Two are just going to be fighting for control over your CPU, and that is not very fun. That is not fun to deal with at all. Sometimes what can happen is you're running a demanding application, let's say. You're running a game, or you're doing some rendering work, or you're just compiling something, and then what happens, suddenly one program takes over the other, and then it happens to just break. Not break necessarily, although that is quite a risk that you run if you're running both of these programs, right? It might just switch from one governor to the other somehow, right? Somehow well, chances are you're never going to know how exactly it's going to do that. But if it switches the governor from something like performance to balanced just for the 2 seconds that you unplug your cable, yeah, shit's going to get messed up. So only use one of these. Either use auto cpufreq or use power profiles daemon. In my recommendation, I would say go with auto cpufreq, because on my older computer, right, that one had an i3 1005G1 CPU, right, an Intel Core i3, and there auto cpufreq worked much more effectively in order to speed up my computer. On this one, I'm most likely not going to notice a difference because it's pretty fast, right? But when you can actually just make improvements, when you can make improvements to your performance, why not do it, right? Just pick auto cpufreq and you'll be good. That's for the CPU side. Now for the GPU side, if you're using Nvidia, you're in luck, because I have an Nvidia computer as well, and I've already figured out how to improve performance on Nvidia. So you're in luck. Buckle up, because I'm going to show you Nvidia and how you can use that as well. Now, let's show you how you can get this up and running. So there's a tool called SuperGFX-CTL for controlling Nvidia stuff, Nvidia hardware on Arch Linux. Okay, so you can just install SuperGFX-CTL. Just install that with EA-S. Again, this is an alias that stands for EA-S. So you can do that. Once you install SuperGFX-CTL, you get access to SuperGFX-CTL. If I run the help command, this is what you see. So there's a couple of different things that we can do, okay? Now, if I run -G, it just gets the current mode. If I run -S, it gets the supported modes. So right now, this is integrated and hybrid. Now, if I actually just show you NeoFetch here, I have a GeForce RTX 5050 for my GPU. Now, this laptop, the one that I'm using, it's a Asus V16 V3607VH, right? That's quite a mouthful to say, but it's over here, right? It's a V3607VH. Now, this one doesn't have a hardware muck switch. Now, a muck switch is basically a switch, like it's a piece of hardware, okay? Or you can just consider it an entity, okay? That's supposed to direct all of your processing when it comes to any processing that you do, whether it be just displaying the stuff on Hyperland or whether it be actually rendering or compiling or playing something, right? That switch determines what little processor is used. Yes, what processor is used in order to actually do that task. Like let's say the hardware muck switch was configured to use the dedicated GPU. That is what you would be using. But this computer has a software muck switch, and so the only available modes that SuperGFX-CTL lists are integrated and hybrid. So hybrid means the computer can use either the 5050 or the integrated Iris graphics or something, integrated graphics that the CPU has. Or if I choose integrated mode, it just only uses the integrated and turns off the 5050. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you want to set it to use a particular mode, okay, you can do that with SuperGFX-CTL. You can just type set graphics mode -M and change that to integrated. Now, if you're on a super high-end PC, whether it be a laptop or a desktop, chances are you have a hardware muck switch, which means that you're going to see dedicated over here as well. On my computer, I don't see it, but if you do, you can set it to dedicated. And then if you are always plugged in, if you always have power, then you can just use the dedicated GPU that you have for every single little bit of rendering, okay, graphic rendering that is done on your computer. That is how you can use these three programs in order to basically supercharge your experience when it comes to Hyperland. Not just turbocharge. No. This is going one step further than that. This is muscle car territory where we're using superchargers to supercharge our setup. If you want to make a custom theme switcher like this one, all without having to jump through 283 different loopholes and figuring out how to do all of this yourself and suffering just the way that I did, right? You can go ahead and click the first link in the description. I show you exactly how to do this from scratch so that you don't have to break your head whatsoever. If you liked the video, hit like. If you loved it and want to see more like this in your feed, hit subscribe, and I will see you next time. Stay rising. Mwah.